Hey guys, how's it going? Ezekiel the Barber back with another video for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's haircut, we have a number 4 on top with a shadow taper and a lineup. Now, as always, I like to sanitize. Definitely got to make sure your hair clippers are disinfected. So I like to use Andis Cool Care. They are not paying me for this, but this is just pretty much a barber's preference. And then also I like to kind of find out exactly what it is that we're doing. What type of haircut, how they want it, how much hair off. So that's basically what you hear here. So last time we gave him a low ball taper with a shadow. Looks like he's good to go with that as well today. So we'll go ahead and start with a Wahl clipper, Wahl 5-star senior clipper. We'll close that lever up. Now with the lever closed, you're gonna get something close to a bald or a stubbly bald look. If that lever was all the way open, it wouldn't be as bald. So we wanna close that lever up. I'm not gonna go too high. You kind of see exactly the range or area that I'm going. You wanna keep that bald level real low. So the next step is I'm going to use a 0.5 guard, a half guard it's also known as. Now I'm going to open that lever up. Eventually I'll close the lever. I'm just going to open that lever up and go up maybe about, I'd say, a ½ inch. And then that's basically what I'm doing here as well. So you see me with the number 1 guard, I'll go up about a ½ inch, not too high. Now once I use that open lever, normally it leaves a line. So whenever I go back, all I have to do is really close the clipper and go right at that line to get rid of that line. All right. So this is basically where we use that number 4. His destination on top was a number 4. So we're gonna use a number 4 on top and we'll slightly fade that down lower. Now I'll use that in every direction, north, south, east, and west. I'll just go ahead and fast forward the frame for you. But you basically wanna ensure that you go in every direction. All right, so now basically we'll do the same thing on the left side that we did on the right. You wanna always keep everything even. So we'll just close that lever up. I'm looking for pretty much a bald look, not going too high. So I'll just repeat the same steps basically that I did on the right side. I'll grab the half guard, go about a ½ inch up. I'll grab the number 1 guard, go about a ½ inch up. Always like to start with the clipper lever open, normally. Okay, so now we have the 1.5 or the 1.5 guard. I'm gonna start with that clipper lever open. I'm gonna use that at the same angle that you see me using here. All right, so I always want to make sure whatever I do on the right, I do on the left and vice versa. So I'm using that number 4 guard on the other side just to make sure everything is even just as the other side. Always want to make sure that you keep everything even. A little fast forwarded frame for you. Once again, always cut everything from all directions. So we're gonna use that number 3 guard and we're gonna go a little bit lower this time. So we've already used the 4 on top. So it makes sense to go a little bit lower to create the transition. You see I have that lever all the way open. So that's basically a 3.5. So that's basically how we create that transition from a number 4 to a 3.5. And then eventually when I close that lever, it's gonna be a true 3, all right? So now it looks like we're up for the number 2 guard. We're gonna start with that lever all the way open. That's basically a 2.5. And then eventually when I need to close the lever and go a little bit lower, it'll be a true 2. So in order to create that transition, that's what that lever is there for. It's to basically give that half adjustment to where it fades in smooth. And you want to cut it from every angle as well. Nice and smooth. All right, so now it's time for the back taper. We're still using the same clipper. We're just gonna close that lever up. We're looking for that bald look again. So we wanna go up about, I'd say 1/2 inch to 1 inch. We wanna do that all the way around, keep everything even. Then eventually we're gonna go up a little bit higher with that lever open this time. We're gonna go up also about at 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Depends on the barber. Then eventually we'll throw the half guard on or the 1 guard. Sometimes barbers like to skip over guards to save time. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just stick to the process. It all depends on the hair type and the haircut. I just want to kind of keep everything smooth and even. Clipper lever all the way open this time, not closed. So it's gonna give a really stubbly look. If the clipper was closed, it'll almost give a bald look. But when that clipper is open, definitely you should still see hair there. All right, so we've covered our steps without a guard. We used it closed, we used the lever open. Now we want to use the 1/16 or the half guard, lever all the way open, still go through the same steps as we did previously. Just go a little bit higher this time. This is basically what creates the fade process. All right, looking pretty good there. Just gotta follow our steps. All right, now we're using that number 1 guard. All right, so now we're gonna use that 1.5 guard, go through the same steps, start with the lever open, go a little bit higher, and then eventually go lower and close that lever up. Now we're gonna use that number 2 guard. We're just gonna transition that 1.5 into the 3 that we've already used. That was pretty much the missing link to bring everything together. Since I did skip over, I used the 4 on top, then I used the 3. Then we also balded everything at the bottom, then used the 1. But the haircut still has to come together and fade, right? So it really doesn't matter what process you use as long as you repeat the same steps on each side and create a good transitional blend. All right, so things are looking pretty good there. Just gonna comb everything out. There are a few parts to a haircut. You have to cut the hair, you have to line the hair up, fade the hair in, sometimes taper it out. This process, we've pretty much done the cutting process, the tapering process, fading as well. Now it's time for the lineup. In this case, I'm using the Babylis Pro Clipper. Now this edition is the silver and black edition with the graphite blade. I don't know why, but I love this even more than the first edition. Now you want to go really easy. I do get my clippers sharpened, my clippers and my trimmers, just so that I can get those really sharp lines. And as you can see here, you just gotta have a really soft touch. You don't have to go really hard or anything to get the sharp lines or the sharp edges that you want. I do like to go over the forehead to get any of the fuzzies. And then here, since it is a shadow taper, meaning there will be hair left to line up. So that's what you see me doing here, kind of lining up the edges. There's that shadow taper right there. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side as well. Just wanna make sure that you keep everything even. Really soft touch there. You don't have to go hard. Let's get those little hairs out of there. There it is. It should be relaxing for your client more than anything. And the haircut should definitely never hurt the client. You see me pull that ear back. Use the corner of the clipper to get the hairs that are kind of hard to get to. There's that technique. You never want to kind of give any white walls where you line too far over the ear. Clients hate that. Definitely hate that. The white walls is what they call them. But you just kind of want to keep everything natural. Just clean the hairs that basically touch from the side of the head to the ear. Everything else is pretty much natural. As you see me here, just balding out, fine-tuning the haircut a bit with the trimmers. Okay, time to line this side up. Here we go. Nice and easy. Everything should look even from left to right, right to left, whatever. And then just get these little side hairs there. All right, so we gotta start bringing everything together. Go ahead and speed up the frames a bit. All right, still working on the right side lineup, trying to make it as even as the left side. You basically just want to keep everything as even as possible. Kind of use the corner of the clipper to create that fine line. Right. So, in recap, we've basically done a number 4 on top. We've gone through all the steps. We've used a 3, a 2, all the way down to a 1.5 guard, even the bald. This is the before. All right, this is where we're currently at, shadow taper. All right, so just bringing everything together a little bit more. Once again, like I said, I do cut to a look. So I just want to make sure everything looks the way it normally looks, make sure it looks right to me, make sure it looks right to the client, and then we're good to go. Just, once again, fine-tuning everything. There's a little side shot of the side in the taper. Front shot for you, going into the lineup. All right. cleaning everything up. Now, one of my favorite, the Oster Topaz clipper. I love to use this clipper as sort of a finishing clipper. I'll basically go through all the steps that I already used before. Just make sure I go over everything really fast, really quick. Since the haircut's pretty much already done, I don't have to do a whole lot of changes. As I stated before, it definitely adds some finishing touches for me to my haircut. Just fast forwarded frame, going over every step for you. Now notice, I'm only really using this in the areas that I faded in. All the other areas pretty much look really good with the Wahl clipper as is. And then also, at my client's request, I do also use the electric shaver just to get things a little bit tighter, a little bit smoother. Just give them a little bit more time before that hair grows back. Now in this case, I'm using the Norelco 7. All right, everything's looking pretty clean right here. Just finishing up. All right, so here's the before shot. All right, little side shot, boom, back version. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, my peeps, take care.